guys, and welcome back to the Gerbil Vine. Thank you so much for being here, for clicking on this video, and if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button so that you never miss our uploads. Getting new gerbils is probably the most exciting thing on the planet. It's super fun to research, prepare for them, and really get creative with setting up their home. Even with research, you really do have to be careful as some information is just really outdated and wrong. I totally understand that it can be different to differentiate between what is good care and what can be bad care, especially if you are a first-time gerbil owner. And there is a ton of important information that you should be aware of prior to purchasing your gerbils. So without waiting any longer, let's jump into today's video and begin discussing some important gerbil information. The first piece of important information regarding gerbils is that they are social. Your gerbil will need a friend. They do best in pairs. This is my opinion and the opinion of other gerbil owners that I have spoken to. Having an uneven number of gerbils living together can result in two of your gerbils forming a stronger bond and ganging up on or even bullying the third other gerbil, which is the main reason why pairs are better. And if you really are set on having more than two gerbils, I would advise you to stick to even numbers, or even better would be to have multiple tanks with two gerbils in each tank, so that way you get your gerbil fix without compromising on their sociability. There are some exceptions to this rule, and you may come across a gerbil that is too excited or too dominant or too aggressive to the point where you're unable to house them with another gerbil. This will not be the norm in owning gerbils, but if this does happen, it's totally fine to house the gerbil by itself if it's a safety risk. Aside from that, a health risk or a gerbil passing should be the only reasons why you would house a gerbil alone. You can't have any more of those, baby. No more treats. See the treat stealer? Where they come from matters. There is something to be said about the quality between a pet store gerbil or a gerbil that comes from a breeder. Their health, behavior, and social ability is all affected by where they come from. Pet store gerbils tend to be pushed out quickly with little regard if they come from good genetic lines. Pet store associates are not trained or required to interact or work with gerbils on things like behavior or taming. Their interaction with the gerbils is usually limited to cage cleanings or feedings or things of that nature. Due to this, when you adopt them, their human interaction will have been very minimal. Gerbils that come from a breeder generally come from a loving environment with an experienced owner and caretaker. Breeders, like most gerbil owners, are usually interacting with the gerbils on some sort of basis in order to get them accustomed to their hands and to taming. The gerbils usually will receive proper care up to the point of adoption, and the breeders generally put in the time and effort to work on socializing the gerbils. Housing size matters. It's 2021. It's time to break free from the 10-gallon per gerbil rule. Let me be clear. There is no mammal you can house in a 10-gallon tank. Not a mouse, not a hamster, not a gerbil. It is outdated, inappropriate, and in my own opinion, a cruel option for housing your gerbils in. You cannot house your gerbils in an ovo, a habit trail, or any sort of plastic home. In my own opinion, the rule should be 20 gallons per gerbil for it to have somewhat of a decent quality of life. Based on this, simple math calculates that at 20 gallons per gerbil, seeing that gerbils should be housed in a pair, would equal out to a 40-gallon tank as a minimum housing space for your gerbils. A 20-gallon tank is too small for you to house your gerbils in, so let me be clear on that. For the sake of this argument, and for the fact that gerbils are to be living in pairs, I advise a 20-gallon per gerbil rule. You should only ever house your gerbils in a tank. Do not buy wood or plastic homes for your gerbils. They can and they will chew through them. Not every gerbil will be loving and want to be held. There is a certain stigma surrounding gerbils, and while they are often advertised a social and outgoing rodent, this can vary gerbil to gerbil. I've seen a ton of posts online and even experienced this issue firsthand where parents go out and with their kids usually and get gerbils, and then come to find that the gerbils are more interested in hiding and spending time with the other gerbil than actually interacting and being handled by the children. Eventually, the kids and the parent will lose interest and no longer want the gerbils anymore. Do not set your expectations so high. Some owners put in a crazy amount of work to get their gerbils to that point. Some gerbils are just naturally more outgoing, and some gerbils may just be reserved or shy for their entire lives. Not every human thinks and acts the same, and not every gerbil does either. Hi, baby. There's no more treats. They're all gone. Where are you gonna look anyways? Please don't get a gerbil just because you've seen a really cool video of them crawling up their owner's arm, or sitting on their shoulder, or falling asleep in their lap. This may very well never happen for you or your gerbils. There are many important things to know in regard to gerbil owning, but the last piece of important information in this video would be to not trust everything that you read on the internet or what shop employees tell you in regard to gerbil care. Trusted websites and sources will likely not be random journalists writing about something that they have no first-hand experience with. Veterinarians also, unfortunately, will not be able to give you good care regarding housing requirements for your gerbils, as usually what they are taught is outdated care. In a previous video I reviewed multiple care guides in Canada from multiple different sources, and the only actual positive good ones that I did come across were from humane societies or breeders. You really do have to be careful with what you read and take your information from trusted sources. If you're watching this video, you're already learning about trusted care, and I want you all to know that it's best to take information from people who have experience with gerbils, who currently own gerbils, and from people that seem generally knowledgeable on them. A quick Google search will more than likely give you subpar gerbil care. Gerbil welfare organizations, breeders, rescues, animal shelters, YouTube, or even gerbil forums will all be able to provide you with good trusted information from people who actually own and work with these animals. YouTube is particularly great because you can actually see for yourself that people are providing good care for their animals. So before I end this video, I do want to say that we all should be striving to be caring and compassionate gerbil owners. Taking care of and providing good care to animals is personally what makes it worth it for me. I couldn't imagine having a life without gerbils, and I would love if in the future the minimum care standard for housing gerbils increased from 10 gallons per gerbil to what I recommend, which is 20 gallons per gerbil. A 10 gallon per gerbil rule is just completely unnecessary at this point in time. As always, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you never miss our uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye!